Alright, good night everybody, it's me Dark Culver again, and today I'm bringing you one of my favorite deck profiles ever. This was I think the first one I did on my channel, because I took it to originals a while back. It is updating going second weather painters for the July 2020 format. Right, so just so you know, this is not really competitive. This is more of a really fun deck that I like to mess around with. Um, Weather painters are not in a good spot. They don't have a really good end goal. They don't have a boss monster. They don't have much going for them. But I am flexing some interesting going second cards to make up for that. This is especially going for going second because of some of the worst painter interactions. The new trap card that got released a while back that needs your opponent to have a monster so you can summon another wild painter from your deck. This archetype revolves about banishing itself for activating effects, so it's really good against hand traps and stuff like that. So you could have a fun rogue matchup, but more fun than rogue. But anyways, I think I'm just gonna get started. Make sure to subscribe and everything a YouTuber would say, because I am now one of them. I'm running out of deck profiles to run, so I want this to be special and before someone else made a profile, because I've been working on a Fairy Stun profile for a while, and someone uploaded one last week. So yeah, let's be the only person that uploads this. Anyway, we're starting off with the most important weather parameters: 3 snow and 3 thunder. These are the starters and pretty much the only weather parameters you want to see generally. Uh, this is a rota for your spells, but instead of adding them to your hand, you can set them face up on the field when normal summoned. This one has double effects. You can pop one of your back rows, well, continuous trapper spells, to change another one, or to get another one from your deck, my bad. Or you can obviously use them to banish themselves using the effects from your trap cards and stuff. They're really good. They're the ones you want to see the most. That's why we run 3 of each. Then we run 2 sun, 1 rain, and 1 aurora. This is kind of weird. Uh, Sun can revive itself from the graveyard by popping one of your continuous playable traps and then placing one from your hand face up on the field. So it's good for like if you want to tribute him or something, he can come back really easily, especially because you run kind of a lot of continual traps and spells. When special summon, you can place one face up. You can place face up one of your spell or trap cards from your hand. That's really good because sometimes you can only search for your trap cards and you don't want to set them. You want to activate them the first turn. So if you can special summon your rain, you can activate it immediately from hand. And Aurora prevents your back row from getting popped and stuff. She's the only protection we have, but she's sadly a 6-star, so we want to special summon her as most as possible, not want to draw her. That's why we only run 1 of. I've seen some builds back in the day run 2. I think 1 is fine. Now for the weird boss monsters, I run 1 Metaltron and 2 Eater of Millions. Alberto, what the hell is this? Right, this sadly can only be normal summoned by tributing up to 3 in between monsters, spells, and traps, and it's unaffected by everything else. Well, by the things you tributed to summon. So if you have like 3 opening spells and him, you can just normal summon him, make him immune to spells, and if he gets popped, it's not that bad because we have a lot of the extra deck focused on him. Eater of Millions, you really don't care about the other part of your extra deck, so it's fine. You can just, it's a free special summon. Some interruption, you can get over some problematic cards with it, especially when, so you're having a little bit of trouble with your weather painters. They're good. I wouldn't drop it, maybe change the Eater of Millions for something more, less bricky, but you know what it is. Then, for our hand traps, kind of, I guess, we run 2 kaijus and 2 droll and lockbirds. Kaijus, you generally want to have higher attack ones, but because we run Metaltron, if you go into if they destroy a Metaltron and they have a kaiju, you go into some cards that don't have a lot of attack, so you want to be able to run over them. What you don't know with the interaction with other painters is you can bounce back monsters to the hand with a trap card, which I'll get into it later. So it's good. Tribute of your opponent's monster, attack, bring them back to your hand, so you have more recourse for your next one. Drone Lockbird, it's fine. There's a lot of decks that search, I think, and I think getting him just like stops their turn. You could change that for Ash, you could change that for the Fake Veiler, you can change that for whatever you desire. It's really a flex pick, but I like having at least two hand traps. Now for the biggest bricks in the deck, two Neos and two Rainbow Dragon. If the title hasn't spoiled it already, because I don't know what I'm going to name it for, you probably can guess what this is for. So therefore, I will not go into detail until we get a little bit in the front. And by the front, I mean into the spell and trap cards. Anyway, that's it for the monster lineup. We're on a really heavy monster set. As you can see, you generally don't want to see most of them, but you need to play them if you want this to be an okay. Now your Snowy Campus. Now the effects of the spells and traps is that they give their effects to your monsters in the column and the net two next to it. So if you put this in your middle column, both the middle and the left and right columns will have this effect. Obviously, only weather paint monsters. This one you can banish your weather painters to search a weather card. It's okay. You generally don't want to search a lot with it. There you want to use the other ones, but it's good for getting resources for later turns, especially when you're going to a grindy game, which is what I think you would like to do with this deck. And that's the only weather canvas we're playing as the spell. The other ones I think are too bricky. One lets you attack directly, one by reducing the attack of a monster half by half, and it's okay, I guess. The other one can pop spell and traps cards, but they're not really needed. So therefore, I don't run them. And then for draw engines, again, this deck is kind of bricky, so we run a lot of things. We run 3 Pot of Desires, 1 Absurd Goblin to make this a 39 deck and maximize our advantage, and 2 Magical Mallet. I don't want to run this. You shouldn't need to run this. This is a mulligan, pretty much, on Lex. It's bad, yes. Is it needed? I think so. Especially because, as you can see, we'll run kind of a lot of bricks, and sometimes you get a lot of cards that you don't want to see together. So this just gives you another shot at not immediately scooping after you open nothing to run with. But again, it's not the end of the world. It's just one less card for being able to play. Now, as you would assume, our 3 Neos Fusion. Send 1 Rainbow Dragon 1 Neos from your hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon Rainbow Neos from your extra deck. You cannot special summon after that. If your Rainbow Neos was going to get popped or something, you can banish the card to negate. So, you know what? I think it's really good. Rainbow Neos, it's a really fun card to use, and it's being there in like a Mech Knight variants and stuff, so I was like, hey, we don't run a lot of special summons. We're really normal summon reliant. So if we can have more special summons on the deck, that would really help us out. And just to help us with a little bit of that, it's Valhalla. I guess I'll explain a little bit of the combo later. It just lets you special summon a fairy monster from your hand if you have no other monsters on the field. Note it says special summon fairy monsters, and it does not state a level 4 or lower, therefore we can special summon Aurora if we open with it. And ending out with the traps, we have 2 Thunder Canvas, 2 Rainbow Canvas, and I guess our 1 Floodgate of choice, the Skill Drain. This is the one that lets you, on the damage step, you can banish your Weather Painters, return the opponent monster to the hand. It's really good, keeps you rid of a lot of problematic monsters. It's non-targeted removal, and that's something that decks really like to have. So we run 2 of. This one, if your opponent controls a monster, you can banish your Weather Painter, special summon another one from deck. You cannot special summon from your decks anymore, but that's fine. This is more normally where you want to get the chunkier Weather Painters. As you can see, your Snow has 2200 defense, my bad. So if you're just sitting there on like Weather Paints on and you're going into a Salaman Great matchup, you can just banish him, get your weather painters know, and they won't be able to get over it unless they go into the big transcode tokens and stuff. Skill drain negates the effects of your monsters while face up in the field. Now, Metaltron, if you use tribute traps, he's immune to that, so that's really good. Your weather monsters activate while banished, so they don't get affected by that. The only thing that suffers is your Eater of Millions and your Rainbow Neos and stuff, but you generally don't struggle with it. If you can go for one or the other, that's up to you. Take whatever you feel is the best. But that's it. It's a 40 card main deck. If you run more, you're gonna break even more. So we're just gonna move to the extra deck. Um, Starting with the links, because they're the least important thing. We have one link Kuribo for your of Millions, one Hada, just so you can revive your opponent's Ash Blossoms and stuff. Gives you a little bit of extra. One Nightmare Phoenix, bag removal. We have one Rainbow. I ran three on my latest, my oldest profile I had. You honestly almost never have enough material to go into it. And if you do, you're probably already winning the game, so it's not a necessity. It's good to have though. You can negate stuff your opponent has by banishing actually by tributing your monsters that are below it or itself. Then it can revive itself. You know, after turn one, it's after it uses its effects by banishing himself, he's really worthless except for link material. But you know how it is. And the one Borrelsword Dragon, it just helps you with OTKs. As you can see, your weapons don't really have that much attack, so it's good to have if you have the material to do it to win the game with it. It's fine. Moving to XYZs, we have one number 35. They just got reprinted, so it's really cheap. You can negate your opponent's. Well, you can change one of your opponent's effects to make just like each player draws one card. It's really good. It's one negation. You kind of give your opponent another card, but you also get one, so it's fine. One repair. It's rarely you can return one of your banished weather painters. It's okay. You almost never go into it, but it's probably the best XYZ level 3 on the deck, in theory, at least. Then around 1, oh god, Musuridum. This is again to get over big monsters. Once the Gene monster attacks, you can remove one material. It gets up to 3,000, so it's a 3,000 beater on Lex. Yeah, it's fine. One Battlecruiser Dianthus, that's just for time. You can change this forever. Honestly, it's not really good because it requires 3 level 3 monsters. But you can remove one material, burn your opponent for each card they have in their hand. So that's really good. Um, in theory, again, if you're going into time, you're probably going to go into time eventually. But having the 3 materials is what's kind of hard. Obviously, we run our 2 big boys, Rainbow Neos. I only decided to play 2 of because you don't really need to go into the third one. Also, you don't have the material on the extra deck, and we don't play Extravagance, so it's fine. If you want to play Extravagance, you should probably move this up to 3. And yeah, the other things are our Metaltron targets. Do you need this many? No. You could probably change this for super polymerization targets, and you'll be fine. But I still run one Last Warrior of Another Planet. Your opponent cannot special monsters. Exterior, the best floodgate in the game. You can banish one card from your graveyard, negate the activation of a spell, and then mill one. So you will have infinite negates, up to 40, I guess. 35, it's fine. One Majestic Star Dragon. When your opponent activates an effect, you can just nuke their whole board, just destroy it. So it's like if they destroy your Metaltron and you're scared, they'll have like something they have to activate. You can just go into it, mandatory effect, nuke their own board. It's really fun to pull. And one Stardust Warrior negates special summons from your opponent, and then it can revive itself endlessly. I think they're fun. But again, you should probably run super poly targets and add that to the deck if you want to. I had that on my latest video build, I think. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes you break a lot. But anyways, just to experiment a little bit, uh, I think this is the best opener for you. One Valhalla and one Ring, one Thunder. I mean, you activate Valhalla, you special summon Thunder, activate its effect, pop Valhalla to get uh, search. I mean, not to search, to change that for. It also depends on what cards you have, but generally you want Snow Canvas, activated special face up. Oh, by the way, this pick Bible activate directly face up, so you are not gonna struggle with stuff like I forget the name. The trap card that doesn't let you activate spells and traps unless they're set. But yeah, then activate Thunder, second effect, banish the self, search a monster, search for snow generally, normal summon snow, activate from your deck. Then you have two options, either Thunder Canvas or Rainbow Canvas. If you're going second, you probably want to have, Thunder Canvas, so you can attack your opponent's monster. You can attack with snow on the battle step, banish it, uh, take the monster back to its hand. And yeah, next turn on standby phase, you're gonna get two monsters back. And yeah, hopefully the other hand is good to go. Versus people, what would I add? You could add more hand traps and remove some of the stuff. I would at least have one kaiju, but you can get rid of the other ones. Rainbow Nails is really fun and really good sometimes, but if you don't like it, you can try maybe decking your deck a little bit smaller. You know, maybe play the third mulligan if you're not feeling confident with my pick of cards. But yeah, uh, that's gonna be it for today. Shoutouts to Ray, Playmat. Shoutouts to doing fun decks that make no sense. But again, this is more for fun than anything. Follow me on Twitch and everything. I'll have a link below if you want to download the deck and try it out for yourself on Pro Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever online thing you do. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.